Give me your hand.
Help me!
I got you. Give me your other hand. Jesus Christ.
Whoa! This hall is dangerous!
Peter, are you ready to step into the world of survival horror once again?
Absolutely.
That's right, because in today's episode of Impulse, we're discussing our brief time spent with the Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo.
Man.
Now, I played the demo twice. I played it both on PC and PlayStation 4. I sped through it on PC because I wanted to at least capture a playthrough on recording where I beat it. And then I took my sweet time with it on PS4, and even then I still managed to beat it, more or less because I kind of had a rough idea where I was going.
I had only played it on PC, so I was just hoping I would beat it, and I ended up doing it in about 23 minutes.
There are people out there who are already like speedrunning the thing. I saw IGN upload a video that somebody completed it in like 3 minutes, which, I mean, if you just run past everything, know exactly where you're going, it's a very quick demo then.
Yeah. I mean, there's some optional puzzles and things you don't even have to do.
Obviously, in terms of graphical presentation, like all around it's better. Like that's obvious.
Yeah,
But the layout is pretty different of the Racoon City Police Department.
Yeah.
It's pretty tweaked.
If you were to keep it the same as the original game, it would be comparatively small by today's standards. And they haven't blown the thing up to ridiculous proportions, but it's bigger and slightly different.
It's more dense, I would say. Like, the moment you even go to the main hall, you know, there's like these like little emergency like places set up and stuff. You know, there's obviously major tweaks to how the narrative is presented as well.
There seems to be a bit though where they have changed Leon's backstory. In the original Resident Evil 2, the reason he's late for work is because his girlfriend had broken up with him and he's pretty depressed, so he just comes into work out of obligation. Whereas in this one, there's a mention of someone telling him not to come in during the weekend. So it seems that he's more a reluctant hero in this one.
Like, any kind of story items I picked up, I just immediately put back down. I didn't really bother reading because the context of a timed demo.
Yeah, that was a lot of my thing in the demo. Like, I would have taken more time exploring it in my own playthrough. Maybe not, an hour, but I kept sitting there like, this is a 30-minute demo. I can't screw around too much.
But in terms of, like, fighting zombies, it is encouraged to definitely, like, conserve ammo and run past them when you can. And on that note, this game is gory as heck. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's pretty awesome. The first time I shot a zombie in the side of the head and I saw his ear come off, just, wow. The attention to detail is pretty staggering.
The zombie dismemberment in general is fantastic, especially if you have a shotgun. You can also, like, dismember them sort of tactically. So, for example, if you, like, either shoot their legs, they'll start crawling on the ground. If you shoot their arms off, notably, they can't enter doors. And there's also been some, like, mechanical updates where you can, like, board up windows and such.
I do love the returning safety items, or whatever you want to call them. Your knife now doubles as a quick escape if a zombie grabs you, and you actually have to pull it out of the zombie's corpse after you're done if you want to keep it. So, to me, that's just awesome. Yeah,
the knife is actually useful. In Resident Evil 2 on the PS1, I just immediately boxed that and never touched it again until I played as Tofu, which we'll get to. The lighting is also, much darker compared to the original, which I guess, sets a more spookier vibe and stuff, and kind of goes with all the tweets they've made, and it does have some weird and odd hiccups, though. Specifically when you're changing rooms, I noticed. Like, if you open up the door to another room, it'll kind of match the lighting of the room you're currently in now, and then when you go into that room, the lighting might change depending on what it's like, if it's a fully lit room or not, and it looks kind of funky.
Yeah, I believe they're trying to simulate an effect of your eyes correcting to the lighting of the room, or they're trying to have rooms with specific lighting and just haven't really nailed the transitions.
Yeah, the sound quality though is a huge step up from the original. The remake itself supports 3D audio, binaural audio, so if you have good surround sound setup or headphones, I mean, it's going to be the definitive way to play this game.
I'm not big on the gunshot sound effects, but everything else, down to environmental sound effects, ambient audio, and even the small selection of music that's in the demo is just aces.
No, yeah, like the moment you hear a litter go past that window there in that one brief spot, and the way the music amplifies, it's fantastic. On the note of sound as well, the voice acting is leaps and bounds better. Not to say the original RE2 was terrible. It wasn't like the meme-worthy Resident Evil 1. still had some, like, Saturday cartoon moments, but it wasn't, like, downright awful. Here, it's, you know, it's better.
I especially like a conversation that Leon has with his commanding officer, where it just sounds very believable, and the animation technology that Capcom's employing for lip syncing looks very convincing.
Yeah, it's Capcom's new trademark look of making everything super realistic looking.
Hyper-realism.
I think it works well for this. Whether or not it'll work well in Devil May Cry, we'll have to wait and see.
In this specific game, it looks pretty neat. The zombies aren't, you know, just generic boring dudes. They have a lot of gore and cool body horror, dismemberment, and disfiguring, so it looks great for a survival horror game.
No, yeah, like one of the first zombies you run into just has this like deranged looking mouth on it that's all like elongated and stuff. It's fantastic. I also love the little bits of commentary Leon makes now as well as you explore. Whether about how like, oh, my first day on the job, blah blah blah, or like when he's shooting at zombies and he's running out of ammo or something. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I missed a couple of shots and he let out a few curse words. And, you know, stuff like it really sucks you into the environment.
But yeah, in terms of mechanics, as you mentioned with the knife support stuff, the inventory and UI in general is pretty similar to that of the original, which I kind of enjoy. But as you mentioned, it's straight up like it's straight up just taken right out of Resident Evil 7, which I haven't played. So
yeah, that's exactly how the inventory works in Resident Evil 7, and honestly, that's great. Not to crap all over Resident Evil 4, but sometimes the inventory felt like a mini game into itself. Like you were spending more time looking at that menu. So it's neat that weapons only take up a single slot and everything's just conveniently laid out and clearly explained.
Notably, one of the big changes I noticed from the original is that you can also find little like inventory upgrades. I think in the demo itself, there's 2 pouches you can find that expand the inventory by 2 each, which I thought was a neat little change potentially. I'm curious how much that you'll find throughout the whole game, but we'll have to wait and see.
I would imagine Leon would at least get a combat vest or something. Maybe make him take less damage and hold more ammo.
But, notably, if you do beat the demo, you get a little scene at the end that confirms the return of the best character. Tofu.
Oh my god, that's all I wanted to see was just what he looked like in that hyper-realism engine. And it's not disappointing at all.
On the topic of dismemberment, what if the tofu to be dismembered?
Oh my god, I would be in love if a zombie bit you and there was just a chunk of tofu out of you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people potentially do all knife runs, because the knife felt very weak and kind of... It's not as terrible as it was in the original, but man, with how the game adapts with its adaptive difficulty, I do not envy people trying to speedrun this with just knives.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal.
But to wrap things up, have you folks played the Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo? If so, let us know down below what you think of the demo.